Other nafkaminos, please, while I resuscitate my computer. What's another nafkamino besides what you have to cover? What else? What?
We're just putting Challot in general. If it's just if it's Echel, then you have to put it out. But if it's just because you have to cover it to the bracha, then you still put it out in the first place.
If it's just covering, meaning you want to say not
if it's just because it's the bracha comes before, like should be beforehand, then just don't put it out.
I mean, if you avoid the embarrassment.
Yeah. And then, but if it's Echel,
in theory,
you should put it out.
There are people I did see. I'm trying to think where I saw that. I saw in one of the Rishonim that even brought up that idea that maybe we should do that, and he said not to, maybe because of the other reasons, right? You hear what Ezra said? Ezra said if the whole reason is the embarrassment, so avoid embarrassment. Don't bring it out, right? Right? Versus if it's Zeichel Aman, you got to put it out, and I guess the Tatchat Asuda, maybe you don't have to bring it out either, right? Okay, that would be a good enough communal also. Yeah, what else do we got? Somebody was talking, yeah, Ms. Haber.
If you make kiddush on the challah.
If you make kiddush on the challah, you saw that in which source? Not only, you may have thought of it yourself.
Mishnah Berurah.
Mishnah Berurah. Good. Mishnah Berurah brings down the Sifkat and Mem Aleph. Says, let's say you make kiddush on the challah. So again, Ms. Haber, flesh it out for me. Go. If you make kiddush on the challah. So if...
To make kiddush on the challah, if according to the opinion that the reason that it's embarrassed, then you wouldn't have to cover it.
Then you wouldn't have to cover it because you're not embarrassing anything because you're making it on challah. Good. If it's because it's Zeichel Aman, got to cover it. If it's the beginning of the meal,
you probably won't.
Probably do because it's still the beginning of the meal.
But
right?
if you're making the kiddush right away,
Are you making kiddush on it? Meaning.
No, but then it just looks like.
What?
No, then it just looks like any old Suda because like the whole thing about Shabbat is that they start off.
Right. That was the question we connected to last week. Also, is if you just say Baruch Atah Hashem Kamal Cholam Hamotz Lechem Min Haaretz, doesn't make it unique at all. That was connected to what we talked about last week. 100%. 100%. Yeah. Hold on. Let's just finish up this last point. So if you're Mekadosh al Pas, the Mishnah Berurah definitely brings up the concept of the embarrassment. You wouldn't have to cover. Zeichel Aman, you would have to cover. The question again would be how to understand the she'ilta. If we understood the she'ilta like the Mordechai, which is not in front of you, that says that you want to make a small distinction within the meal. So you probably also want to cover it and remove it. So then, you're right, Ms. Haber? If you understand like the Mordechai, definitely you would want to do that. If you understand that it's the whole question that you're stamping the Shabbat as a Shabbat meal, that might be only a function of, question is if that's a function of Kiddush al Hayayin, maybe even Kiddush al Pas. If you can even have that, I guess that will mean Sarach Iyun, and I have to think a little bit more about that also. Not sure. Yeah. Not the right. Meiri takes the shiltos out of our discussion.
Yeah, the Meiri doesn't.
The Meiri takes the shiltos. I just showed you to you because I thought the Meiri was a cool discussion.
He doesn't agree with it either.
With the whole, right with me? Doesn't bring it down at all. Yeah.
But the shiltot, if lichatchila you're not even supposed to have that table out yet, maybe that's only when you're making kiddush on wine. But if you're not making kiddush on wine, then how could you have nothing in front of you and make?
Right, kiddush. Right.
Maybe the din is different.
Right. Maybe again, that was the tzarachim part. Maybe the whole concept of the matir or the stamping it as a Suda Shabbat is dafka din kiddush al hayayin we talked about, and therefore maybe not 100%. Good. Other nafkamina. Yes. Name again. You.
Me?
Yes.
Ariel.
Ariel. What?
Silver.
Hello. Yes.
Do you need to cover it for Shabbos?
Do you need to cover it for Shabbos? Shouldis. Okay, let's also talk about the second meal also, right? Why not? Let's talk about the second meal. But let's skip already. Ariel says Shalosh Shudis. Let's talk Shalosh Shudis. Did you see any source that brought that down?
No, we didn't get that to anything.
Oh, but it does bring that down. Anybody see the source there? I think it's the last source that I brought to you, if I'm not mistaken. Am I right there? The Ishel Avram? Do you have that on the source?
Yeah, it's the last source before you brought together.
Oh, okay. It's the last source before I brought another 3 sources. Okay, that's good. That's why I have my Talmud David to help me out here. Right? Right, good. So before you even see the sources, why would you not need it in Challot Shivas?
If it's not to embarrass the father, then
right?
Kiddush is not, and it's not.
Okay, so again, if it's not to embarrass, well, first of all, who says like you even have challah, right? That's a question in itself, right?
Do you have wine even on Shabbat?
Do you even have wine in Challot Shivas? Right? Well, the question is again. So if it's Zeichel Aman, right? So if it's Zeichel, well again. So number one is there's a good chance you don't have wine. unless you're David Stein, I think that was his name, right? David Levine, right? Who was Choshesh like the Rambam, but we don't paskin like David Levine, right? So the assumption is probably the first reason. I don't even know this David Levine, but I've quoted him like 20 times over the last 2 shiurim, right? So we don't paskin like that. We don't paskin like David Levine or the Rambam. Okay, so there's a good chance that you don't have to cover your chalas because you don't have one. Okay, unless you have one. Unless you have David Levine. Okay, second reason of Zeichel. So if you hold like the shita that you do need lechem mishnah, right? For example, like the Rambam, and not like Rabbeinu Tam, like Tosfot, right? So then you probably have to cover the chalas. Zeichel you have to cover. What's the third reason? The she'ilta. The she'ilta that says you want to make a heker according to the Mordechai, according to Rav Soloveitchik again. According to Rav Soloveitchik again, the Rav Soloveitchik explained that you, according to the sheet of the Rambam, that you actually need to make kiddush, then you would have to cover. But according to what we're saying, that you don't have to make kiddush, so then you would not have to. And according to the Mordechai, I told you I was going to read the end of the Mordechai for you. So I didn't, but it connects to the second meal also. Ariel, not only the third meal. So the Mordechai says, if we only had that first reason, he says, Miu, Mashanu Misimin Mapal Lechem Shacharit, Lav Hainu Me High Taima, to make it unique. The High Taima Lo Shaykh Rak Bilel Shabbat. The Oz Havya Hachnasat Shabbat. So how the Mordechai understands the she'iltot concept to make it unique, then already that's enough. You don't have to do it in every single meal as Rav Soloveitchik understood the she'iltot. But once you've done that at the beginning of Shabbat, you've shown things are different now. This is a different meal. You've removed it. That's all you have to do is on the first meal. He says the second meal you would have to cover it because of the embarrassing issue of the Hilchot Brachot. But obviously then he would say the same thing for the third one if it would be for the reason of the she'iltot. You would not need it if it was for the Yikra, the Shabta. That's enough for the first meal. That would apply both the second and the third. Yeah?
Why is yayin used as the symbol for starting Shabbos? Why not chal in the first place?
That was last week's shir. Go check it up on YouTube. Okay, now we had a whole long discussion. I'll send you over email. Okay? It's a good question. It's a good question. It's based on it's a really great question. It's based on a Gemara that yayin is there's a shira al yayin, right? There's a concept of real giving edut al yayin gives a chashivut. It's a whole long discussion about it. Okay, I guess I'm gonna have to go speak to you after Yom Kippur. Now the good, yeah. What do we got? Other question, other nafkamina before Yom Kippur. No, because I'm assuming before Yom Kippur she's already gonna forgive me. You know, after Kippur we're going to continue talking. Yeah, go ahead. Elisheva, you'll help me out with your sister? Good. There we go. Yeah, she's like, yeah, oh boy. Yeah, go ahead, 8 times. Do you have to what? Do you have to? I don't understand. Yeah, why?
Because the towel is above and below the bottom.
Meaning if it's the towel, you want to say it's both the top and the bottom. Right? Right. You just say, do you need specifically a top? Meaning the towel says you need both. So you're saying if it's what?
You need a bottom.
A bottom you would need for man, but you wouldn't need for
bottom you would need for man. Oh, I got you. Do you need a bottom?
I don't know the question.
I have like little cute kids at the bottoms. You know? Do they need a bottom? Sorry. I did bath time tonight. You know what I mean? That's how it works. Ari, get home. Yeah. No, I definitely have a table. You need a separate cover on the bottom. So according to the man, you do need something. I'm saying, according to the man, you do need something. According to everyone else, you wouldn't. I hear. Good.
That's the
Chai Adam says that?
Yeah.
Where does he say it?
The third Chai Adam.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, so that's another nafkamina.
Oh, another nafkamina.
Based on last week, there was a makom suda, kiddush makom suda.
Yeah.
If you don't make kiddush makom suda,
Yeah.
then you have to cover it. The chayadam brings up a must.
If I don't make kiddush b'makom suda.
There's no
So therefore, what?
There's no.
Meaning, I don't plan on eating it all.
No, meaning there's no wine
There's no wine there.
there. You're not so there's no issue of. You didn't bring wine out.
I didn't bring wine out, so what do I have? I just have bread?
Yeah.
And I'm making kiddush al pas.
No, you
Nope.
already made kiddush
I made
somewhere else.
kiddush somewhere else.
You were in shul. You made.
I was in shul. I made kiddush and I had a mizonos there. For argument's sake.
And you didn't make. And you're not making.
And now you're not making kiddush at home. You're coming back.
Right. We discussed
Okay.
that last week. But let's say you
Right.
didn't make kiddush.
Let's say I don't make. Let's say I don't pass like a Shlomo Zalman. Let's say I don't have to make. It's not a din suda. Let's say, for example, right? So in that case, do I need to cover? Yeah. So if I'm not having wine, so the kedimos, there's no issue there.
Right.
If it's zeichel you have to, and if it's shabin, could be. Also depends. Also could be. Good. Other nafkaminas. Yeah.
When you uncover the challah.
When do you uncover the challah? That's another good one, right? That's a big one. When do you uncover the challah? Yeah. What do we say? What do you think, Jessica?
So if I guess if it's gonna mark the beginning of the Suda, then you would take it off like right after you make kiddush. No, you would only take it off like when you're about to make hamotzi because that's at the beginning of the Suda, not right after you make kiddush.
Okay.
If it's the month thing, then
Well, again, that might be
wait.
the she'iltot piece. Could depend if you hold like Rav Soloveitchik's understanding of the she'iltot or the Mordechai. Right? The Mordechai says the whole purpose is what? Right after you make kiddush, you remove it to show that this is different. Right? As opposed to Rav Soloveitchik would say that you keep it on until the hatchalat suda. Right? It could be it's the same. Could be maybe to the lechem. Could be. Could go both ways. Yeah. What else?
So what about the month thing? So if
What do you think about the mun?
Then you I don't really know what the difference would be. Meaning
Maybe you have to keep it on till
until you
the
actually
bread.
gonna eat the, like
Till you're
after
gonna
you
eat.
say hamotzi.
Yeah, till you have to
That's
say
the
a
same as
motzah.
Rav Soloveitchik.
What?
That's the same as Rav Soloveitchik.
Might be. Yeah. But so most people would say, I mean, I saw it two different ways within the sources also. Whether it's zeichel aman, you have to keep it to the bread. How about the kedimus? How about the embarrassment?
Then once you say bar priagaf,
The second you say bar priagaf, and you can take it off, right?
Same as heck.
The second you say bar priagaf, and you're able to take it off because you've now finished with the embarrassment. Good.
The Pri Megadim says that the Magen Avraham brings as that
The Pri Megadim says that even for the zeichel aman,
that even in the Seif Aman you only need them for a little bit, so you can take it off right after.
Right.
You
the Pri Megadim says that all you have to do is a little bit, right? He says you can take it off right away. Is that what he said?
Yeah, Vadai Dai B'Sham with
B'Sham Muetas. Right, which I didn't fully understand. I figured like most other people said it was zeichel aman, it was the Magen Avraham, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what.
What was that name?
Okay. Right. So the Magen Avraham had said, when can you take it off? He says, if the reason is kedimos, ulefizeh miyad kishabirech bar priagafen. This is the Magen Avraham in Sif Het. It's also in Sif Chaf. Rashai legaloto. But according to the reason of the she'otot, lo yigaleu ad achar, the full kiddush, right? Until you do the whole kiddush. Right? Pay attention which reasons the Magen Avraham brings. Which reasons does he not bring? He doesn't bring the reason of the zeichel aman,
It's also
right?
it's a Pri Megadim.
Because according to the Pri Megadim, that would be maybe the same as the kedimut. You take it off right after the bar priagafen also. One other last piece, so just to finish up.
What if the side is shut? What if you only cover the bread a little bit, but you could see,
You can see some of it. Let's say it's a transparent cover. You ever have those? Let's say you have a cover, but you can still see through it.
Or if you have a huge challah and you just put a little
Or huge
bit-
challah at the sides over there,
put
a little napkin. Right? Does that work or not? Right? So that's the idea.
Why? Because the whole.
We had talked about also the meals. We talked about that. The truth is, what was also interesting before we end, we're going to end off with the transparent cover, but also the Pri Megadim that said, why only on Shabbos? The Zeichel Aman, he says, Shamati b'Svar Makdoshim. First time I've ever seen that. Svar Makdoshim. Hikshu al Tam. If it's Zeichel Aman, so why not do it b'chol also? We should cover our stuff during the weekdays. Right? So he says, a really cool answer. He says, Sarach Lomar Lefi Ani Uzdaiti Lo Kasha Midi. And since Leil Shabbat Kodesh, that's when the bracha comes for the whole week of Shabbos, like the Zohar says. Lazeh osin zeichel one specifically on Shabbos Kodesh, because the Torah says about Shabbat, Vayivarech et Yom HaShvi'i. We know the bracha only happens when it's out of the ayin hara, the samui min ha'ayin. Ubirchu b'ma deshishi, it was mekadesh, that which it was double. Al yidei zeh nachon l'chasot gam sheze lo shayach rak b'layla o shacharit Shabbat Kodesh. But gam sudash lishit ki einat tam is why he says you should even cover it on sudash lishit. Ki einat tam because of the busha. Right, that would be the first 2 meals. But if it's the reason of bracha, you should also do all 3 meals. We'll end off with the last piece, which we said is the transparent cover. Again, if it's seeing the busha, so you can see it just like reading Shema, and you can see it through a transparent glass of an erba, it's a problem. Versus if it didn't cover, so then again, transparent might not be good enough. So hopefully, again, when we look now that when you'll cover the challah, you'll see these different reasons. You'll remember some people now, if you see some people covering everything, you'll know it's either because to make it different, or because, like Rav Soloveitchik said, some people mizonos. But hopefully now when we come to Friday night, based on last week's share of the function of Kiddush, and this week, understanding why we cover chalos, will now be that much more in tune with our minhagim and dinim. That much have a good evening.